All right, welcome back to the Digital Dish. Hi, Lois, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Jeannie? It sounds like you got a bit of crackle in your voice. That's unfortunate.
Yes, exactly. It's the winter thing, so everybody gets it, so we're fine. Anyway, I'm pretty excited about today's show. We have Anca Iordanescu, who's a VP of Engineering, Store of the Future, who's being interviewed by Beth Thomas, who's one of our partners. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and she was an award winner, I understand, from our 2023 Women in Digital Awards, which is fantastic that we get the honor of chatting with all of these great women who are making really inroads in all of their areas. And so we're excited to have her join us. And with her and Beth, it should be a very interesting discussion.
Good morning, ladies, and a special welcome to you, Anca. It's so great to meet you and so excited about our conversation today. I would love to start out with you just telling us a little bit about your background, your career journey, and how you got to where you are today, because I love your title, The Future of Stores. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm so excited to be here and to talk about, my career and, of course, the stores of the future. But to start with, who am I? I'm a technologist. I have the technology at heart. I have a PhD in computer science, and I started my career in working in the telecom world. So I would say from my hands have gone a lot of cool stuff in the early mobiles when we have just started to invent what is a new mobile technologies, what are they bringing. So if you think about the 4G today or the voice over internet, maybe it has come from my hands. I have but part of the team that has done the first voice over IP. At that time, we have failed it because it was a different technology of the Bluetooth, but was the start. So without that failure that I've done, I would say 10 or 15 years ago, we wouldn't have been here. And then, so my career started, I actually teach at university when I was very young, doing my PhD. And then I started at Ericsson many years. Then I moved to Sony Mobile. Sony Mobile was at the time Sony Ericsson, again, developing mobile phones and a lot of cool accessories. And then after many years there, where was kind of my peak of my career from an innovation perspective, I decided that I would like to try something else. The mobile also was declining a little bit. So I have started to work for a completely new industry. It was called Maersk Line. Maersk Line, it's the biggest shipment company in Denmark. All these companies were in Denmark, in Sweden. So I was actually moving to Copenhagen to work for Maersk Line. And there also, my whole innovation and desire for technology and improving was how can we track the whole containers, what technologies can we use, but also very cool was how to put technology infrastructure on the big ships. And for me, which I was coming from small mobiles, to go and meet absolutely huge ships, like things like 10 floors, stories, buildings. It was like I felt like an ant in a big, but also, different industries, but technology was my focus. And then I have decided to move a little bit back to Sweden, mainly because I was commuting between a bridge between Sweden and Denmark. Kids were small at that time, so a little bit to focus on my family. So I actually entered the world at digital retail. And IKEA is a famous Swedish brand. Didn't really know much about retail because, again, my focus is mainly always technology. I really get very enchanted about what can you do to help people with the technology. And then we started at IKEA the big transformation 5 years ago almost, to become more digital, to meet the customer into multi-channel, to see what is their journey, to see how we kind of support them both online, which IKEA was not very much e-com. We are famous on our store. So a little bit now, a lot of focus come into digitalization, transformation, decoupling, development in-house of the technology. And then kind of the stores we have forgotten because we all wanted to go on e-com. And then 2 years ago, we realized that still in IKEA stores are bringing the biggest revenue in the business. And then we start, what can we transform and how can we actually still engage with the customers in the store, why they should come in the store, what would be the purpose in the future of the store. So that's what I'm working today. But from another angle, I'm not only technologist, I'm also a great advocate of women in technologies. I'm a founder of a Women in Tech Alliance. We are promoting diversity and inclusion in the technology world. And I have a mission, 1 million women to join tech forces in Europe by 2030. We have not started to count them, but 3, 4, 5, they are coming. And I am overwhelmed with the reach we have, with the feedback we get, with the engagement that women and men wants to support us. And also the third passion about asking about needs sustainability is really, again, looking at technology. We have definitely, we all know, climate change challenges, problems that we need to solve. So also we are supporting startups with the sustainable technology and innovation to start their business to solve the climate changes that we have. And that's also where I'm really, really passionate, because it has to be a movement. It has to be a tipping point where everyone is engaged and we look differently at the technology. Yeah. That's kind of me. I'm not talking about my family, my husband, my kids.
Yeah, you could probably go on about that, I'm sure. That is very, very impressive. I love all of your passions. And, talking about omni-channel journeys just brings me back to my retail days and, how it's come to life again, especially with COVID, and how we need to look at all the channels that the customer experiences. But, what do you see as a technologist, a woman in technology right now? So many of the new roles are being generated because of the new technologies in AI. Can you speak a little bit about what kind of roles are being generated as it relates to technology and AI?
Yeah, if we have to think about AI as a future technology and the roles that they are generated, I think if you look at how all the data analysis, all the way that you can do predictive, all the searches. So this is kind of the areas where the AI it's affecting. And then the roles that are generated is more like actually to coordinate and work with all this kind of the data that is provided and provide good strategy and movements forward. I also feel like the whole data scientist is blooming. The whole, if you talk about roles, but also, I would say all this up. If you see a lot of entrepreneurship on using an AI to develop new things, like. Right. So a lot of self-development roles, like I in the business. So that's how I see that new AI is bringing. Yeah.
That's awesome. I think what everybody wants to know, especially with your title, what is the future of stores? Because as you know, COVID brought an entirely new shopping experience, some that was so disruptive, from going from shopping in the stores to curbside to shopping online and, the whole kit and caboodle as it relates to the omni-channel. How has that changed the future of the stores? And what do you see? What else do you see in the future of stores for retailers?
I think that in the coming, I call it in the next year will be kind of I call it retail 3.0, will be a revolution. So I see like we have been until now in retail 2.0. So from the first 6,000 years ago, when the first agriculture started, we're now starting in a different retail. But I think that now with the AI, we're entering a different kind of retail. And that's kind of the model I'm thinking, how this will come together. And if you ask me what will be the future, again, people will need, or the retailers will need to define how they want to see the store in the middle of e-com. It's absolutely very clear that the e-com is the one that will stay. People will be easy to reach. They will have enhanced experience as a e-com. You can buy, you can try on, you can have immersive on online. But then what should you go? Why should you go to the store? Right. Why should you go to any store, not only IKEA, but why should you go there? So I think it would be a transition into an experience place.
Yeah.
So for me, why people, and now I can say why people are coming to IKEA, is not only going to see the furniture, to see the designs, it's also to feel and touch, but it's also really, is the experience that they build there.
Right.
Is the inspiration they take. People are just going there, at least if I take IKEA, to go through and, through the maze and really trying to understand the feelings, that we have. I read, I was not in China, that people were going, in their lunch break, to sleep at IKEA, in the IKEA bed. And so it's a little bit, it's like, and then this experience, how can you enhance through technology?
Right.
So of course, what I'm thinking that the store will have will be a lot of, again, immersive. You want to book your, I don't know if I take just furniture, because that's where I have, but it can also be fashion. You go in the store, you feel the materials, but you want actually to really get immersive in how can I plan. Now I've seen it. How can I plan it? How can I see my room from all angles? How can I get immersive, and how can I help it? Also, again, I take IKEA as an example. You go into our stores and you see a room which is already pre-designed for you, and you like it, and you say, oh, I just want with a click to get everything at home. Is it fit my taste, my budget, my size? Just deliver it at home. So easy to use. Another thing that I really, and I'm also investigating and working, it's how to use AI to become your companion. So again, in any store, if I take any fashion or any retailer you can ask, I would like to, and then you start saying like this generative, I would like to buy something which meets I would like a red carpet in my kitchen. Just give an example. Which should be not longer than 10 meters. So all this kind of thought, you have it more interactive, and we take it, I call it a storytelling. This can help to enhance your search. And I'm not talking about even navigation in the store. Then the whole fashion industry, I think, with the just try on, with the virtual mirrors where you can try your stuff. So really, the technology will enhance the experience and will come you to be there to meet people. And will be also a meeting place where I think events with AI and all the things. So it will be a different experience.
Let me just ask a question here. Anca, do you think it's going to be a difference culturally too, that AI can help discern from culture to culture, from country to country kind of thing? Like you said in China, where did you say in China they're going and taking naps on their lunchtime on the beds? Maybe.
I think that's probably.
I don't see that happening in Chicago, but that's just me. But
I think that this is probably one challenge that AI has to solve, because when you develop anything, it's a machine learning. Machine learning is learning based on the data points that you have, based on the data sets you are giving to it. So, for example, if you develop and you want to develop in a specific region like China, the AI will have to learn and propose solutions based on that taste. Also, the whole idea of AI is that they know very well your personal taste, personal desires, personal needs. So, for example, you can actually be your own designer of your room, helped by AI. So the whole thing is that he knows where you are. And I forgot to talk about even virtual, immersive rooms, immersive like holograms. One thing that we are seeing at IKEA, we had this kind of the big stores, outside on, we call it on potato fields. And we see that not many people are really wanting to go there to see all our range. So now there is a movement to create city stores like Oxford Street, for example, in London, where we have smaller range, a smaller space with a less range. So how can you make people to experience entire range in a very small size store? How can you use really immersive holograms? How can you feel the material, for example, using haptics? So that's a lot of change that will come with the future as technology is developing.
Yeah. And I think technology is such a critical component, because it is going to be able to drill down on some of those customer experiences that are going to have to be king. I've seen so many pop-ups because people still do want to go touch, and they want to feel. But especially as it relates to IKEA, like how can you bring the technology to create that room, but people still want to come in and they want to feel it, they want to smell it, they want to experience it. So I think technology is definitely a critical component of that customer experience. So we talk about customer experience being king. How does that impact your store associates? Because are you looking for different types of store associates to really enhance the customer experience, or is it the same old retail associates we've always looked for?
I really believe that we need store associates, or we call it co-workers at IKEA, that can really learn very quick and fast. And that's where the technology should enable them. We should be able to have them quickly retrained in doing something else. For example, from being on the shop floor and helping customers with finding products, to being actually design experts in something, to create an online planning, to give suggestions. So this is probably the beauty of AI. By enhancing our own, it will optimize what we can do, and it will help them to be able to move from one role to another role in a quicker way. I definitely see that that's a need, and also we need to take advantage of that. Of course, if I have to think, I'm not saying it's tomorrow, so it's a lot. We talk about AI and we talk about big technologies, but of course, every development takes time. So it's not like things are just happening tomorrow. It's a lot of things that has to happen at the base. Sometimes
Right.
I'm joking. We talk about AI going to the moon, and sometimes you can't even pay a ticket at the train station.
Right.
It's something the machine is failing. So there are a lot of basics to be in place, but I think the speed from now on, I just see that will be faster and faster.
Right. Well, I love the fact that you are so passionate about women in technology and women in retail. I know that's a new field for you, but how do you think we can attract more women in retail and in technology?
Yeah, and that's actually kind of my mission on making women to really feel the passion for technology. And what I'm really working first, of course, as a role model, I'm trying to share my experience. I'm trying to share my journey to become a tech leader. Also to kind of show that it's cool and it's fun to be in
Yeah.
tech. It is really cool to kind of be dirty on the hands on the new technology and learn. But what I think it's important is that actually to make sure that the women are also engaged in going next steps, meaning learning more. For me, it's curiosity to stay up to date.
Yeah.
Then this is more from me them as a personal, but then also we need to create that environment where they are really thriving. Really, companies should really be serious about creating a diverse workforce. Shouldn't be just pinkwashing, what I call it. They need to be serious. They need really to look in hiring women, because what I see is like when women are there, you can see a lot of women blossoming around. The moment the woman leaves, that the other women are disappearing. So really, we need allies and men and good networking to support these women to grow.
Yeah.
A lot of programs. Maybe I really advise. I call it positive action. I don't want to call it discrimination, but meaning really, if you see that if you have many applicants in the jobs, for example, really maybe take an extra mile to encourage more women. In my ads when I'm hiring, and actually it's really a practice at IKEA also, we say, if you read this ad and you think it's not for you and you are one of the in the non-privileged categories, please apply it, because this is probably for you. So really encouraging them to support. And then networking
Yeah.
for me, that's kind of
Key.
the key to grow, to be exposed, to speak, to go a little bit outside of your comfort zone.
Right. Well, I have to say, Anca, you are a perfect example of women in technology and what you can do with it and how successful you've been. And I love hearing about your career journey. But a question about that, have you ever taken, severe risks in your career? And with those risks, what was produced from that?
Actually, it's a very good question. I don't know if I should severe risk. In general, I have to say, probably I'm not prone to a very severe risk, but sometimes I say, I don't know. I say you just run and swim, or swim, jump and swim. Because if I have to say, even in my first days when I moved from university to go to become a software developer, it was a little bit not very thought through. I didn't even know what that really means to become a developer in a mobile giant, like Ericsson, in a telecom. I was teaching languages. I had no clue about telecom. And then so I just said, oh yeah, let's go and try, from a very theoretical place, let's go hands-on. And that's actually where I got in love with the hardware and software, because I was really starting very, hands-on, from mounting switches and putting cables and writing code and testing. And I just got blown off by what can you do with that? So that's probably a risk that actually changed my entire career. Then you just progress. Probably I don't see so many risks, but who never, actually I am probably, now older I get, actually I'm becoming more eager to take more risks. I don't know, I feel probably self-contained and much stronger that I can do things, and I can support.
More confident. You've probably also seen some successes come out of those risks, and it makes you more comfortable to do that. One of my favorite sayings is, you always want to fail forward. You want to make sure that you are looking to how you can move forward with taking risks that, aren't so severe sometimes, but definitely pay off. Well, I just have one more question, and then I'll turn it over to Lois and Jeanne see if they have any more. But, you've given us a lot to think about as it relates to technology and how it really is going to impact the future of the stores. What are maybe some last pieces of advice for people trying to get into the technology field and retail, and what are the best things they can do to achieve that?
Yeah. I think to get into retail, you also need to like, the whole space and the business, and to understand the dynamic of the business. But also you need to kind of start to think about all these immersive things that will come. So again, read, get acquainted with all these technologies, because it's not only old e-com platforms. It will be something new coming on. For example, now I've been I do a little bit of innovation on the sustainability, and someone talking about the rent market for the big retailers in the fashion, for example, to rent the clothes and so on. And the way that this small company has proposing to implement is like, it's such a clever way. Technology is so clever. So it can be a great success about risk, talking about taking risks. But again, look at technology as an enabler for the business, and how to simplify and simplify the way forward for the business. I love that. Stay curious. Ask. What I've learned. Sorry, now I interrupt. What I've learned in the last years is the people you have around you makes you very different. Like, for example, me in the last years, I have put myself around people that are very innovative, very much with the great business ideas, and I learned so much from them.
Right. So lots of different mentors in every single area. Well, you do not lack any passion, and I see that that is definitely a driving force behind your success. And I don't know, Jeanne or Lois, if you have any final thoughts for Anca, but it has just been a pleasure for me to learn more about you and your journey, and how you can help other people along the way.
Yeah. Thank you, Anca.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time. It was great to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Beth, Jeanne, and Lois. It was very nice to meet you. And thank you for the prize. I didn't say. It was a really
excellent. Great choice. I'm so glad we chose you.
Okay. So what I loved.
Fun interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
It seems to me, though, she's too young to have done all these things, starting with VoIP.
Well, that's what I said. Success. She is definitely a success story.
Yeah.
in women in technology. And I love the fact that she's just getting into retail. That's one of the key messages. I mean, it just can apply to any industry. But one of the things I've always learned is that you have to be passionate about the business you support.
Absolutely.
It is an enabler,
Yeah.
but when you are passionate about the clothing or the furniture, or for me, I remember being in fashion and going to see the assortments. It was just, I thought I died and went to heaven. And you can tell that she's learning her passion in retail, which is cool.
By the way, with your matching headscarf and sweater, I can totally see you're into
It doesn't go
fashion.
away.
But I do think,
Even old.
though, her choices, I always like to think about choices you make into technology is serendipity. She found what she was interested in and pursued it. So she started teaching,
Yeah.
then she went to VoIP, then she went to container shipping after,
I
doing.
know.
I mean, that's amazing. Now to store the future. I think that's really exciting, and I love the idea of serendipity, which I don't think she thinks of as a risk, but I'm like, well, that's kind of what taking a risk is, and that to
Mhm.
me was really exciting, and how passionate she is about
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
coworkers and other people involved,
Well,
women
and
involved.
just bringing women along, right? I
Yeah.
mean, 1 million women in EMEA by when was it? I'm trying to think. She said,
I don't think she had a time limit.
anyways,
She's looking to get 1 million
yeah,
in.
it's a goal. It's a goal. And I just love the fact when women bring along other women. And I think that that is so powerful. And one final thing for me is networking. That is probably the biggest key message from her, and the power of your network. I know I've been blessed with the most amazing network over my career that I wouldn't give up for anything. And but it takes work, and people just think it happens. It doesn't happen.
Right.
It takes a lot of work, a lot of engagement with other people, and to be honest with you, a lot of helping of one another to create that community of how you can support one another. That you're not always asking for something; you're giving something back too.
And I think she said it really well when she said it's around the people that you work with or you surround yourself with. So it's not necessarily networking to say, oh, because I want to ask for them or for advice, or I want them to, maybe provide me some opportunities as well as I give opportunities. But it's also just surrounding yourself by people who have like minds and desires to go. And that just builds an energy and a confidence that you talked about that you just gain as you go through all these steps. And what a great sense of confidence to have these people around you as you go through that journey. So I think it's a fantastic thing.
And it was different, right? I mean, it's technology. It could have been leadership. It could have been women in retail. And, you just, the one big lesson I learned too was there's a mentor for everything. It's not one size fits all. It's many mentors.
That's a really good point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Well,
Well, it was
thank
good
you,
to
Beth.
see you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing the interview. That
Lois,
was great.
you're going to have to get a big pair of glasses to match me and Beth.
match us.
You're going to have to work on that.
Another sign of age. Another sign of age. Can't look at a computer without it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So thanks,
All right.
ladies.
Thank you all.
Thank you.